Okay, so let's start with your name. Say and spell your name for me.
Yeah, my name is Phuong Chao Alex Ngyen. Do you want me to spell out all of that?
For the lower third.
Okay. It is. You want me to spell out all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Phuong Chao Alex Ngyen. That's spelled Phuong hyphen Thao Alex Alex last name Ngyen Ngyen.
Okay, and so what do you do?
Yeah, so within Web3, right now I work at Bento Biology Platforms as the Chief Operating and Health Equity Officer. Bento Biology, we're trying to give the power back to the people in terms of biotech and Web3, allow people to actually own their biology and monetize off of it, create a new asset class for that.
Okay. So the whole industry of people owning their biology information
Yeah.
versus the doctors, the HMO, has been kind of going for a while.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pre-screening that occurs where they're trying to say, okay, well, based on family history and what we're seeing within your DNA and other things within your biology to make up, your predisposition to diabetes and these things.
For this and this and that, yeah.
And that's kind of your private information.
Absolutely.
And while HIPAA laws do apply in those kinds of scenarios, there's no guarantee, hacking and all those kind of things. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how the blockchain technology is going to be the most secure way for somebody to do this. There's a lot of people who fear the 23andMe.
Absolutely.
But you have to get people past, because a certain amount of the population are paranoid.
100%, and rightfully so. Let's start with that.
And so how is Web3 going to take it to the next level of where that is much more secure?
Yeah, absolutely. We're extremely passionate in terms of data privacy. We think that people should be able to say yes or no in terms of should my data be shared or should it not be shared, not just taken advantage of and you're a data donor. Example, you had mentioned 23andMe, where a lot of people pay for to give their data, and about 80% of the people that do it check the box that allows their data to be sold. Now, there's certain companies that say, we won't share your data, so forth. We sign something, we have to trust them. What's nice about Web3 and blockchain is that you're actually able to see into that, right? We can actually look and see where the data has been shared, where it's going. There's more trust in it. Let's say not this, we're not building trust, we're building truth. You can actually see on the blockchain and Web3 where things are going, where your data is being provided. You can also allow, no, I don't want to share my data. Yes, I do want to share my data, and change it. It's not, I signed it and now I'm good, and it will 100% be shared to everybody. You can change your mind and take that back and see that on Web3 and blockchain.
Does it take it back from the people who already have the information, or it just doesn't give it to new people?
That's a good question. I would say that, let me backtrack real quick,
Yeah.
Sorry. I would say that it more so doesn't allow it to be, I would say that it more so doesn't allow for that data to be shared in the future. I think those that already have it, but this is the thing, the data that they would have in terms of biological data is de-identified as well. So they won't have your name, they won't have your address, they won't have that information, they won't even have your full-on birthday. They'll have your birth year potentially, and your race and so forth, but they won't have details about you personally, like my name or my address and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
But that is a good question. That more so my CTO would answer.
Okay. So let's get into the record itself, which obviously it's going to build on itself, right? Is it segmented out? So let's say I'm okay with you knowing my physiology. Maybe I got something I don't want you to know about. Can you say this section can be shared with these people, but don't tell anybody? I mean, want my
100%.
family to know.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. With blockchain and smart contracts, you can write it into a smart contract. Only this information I want to share, not this part, not this side. You could opt to not even provide that data to begin with. We really want to be able to give people the power to choose and have the right to choose what they want to share and what they don't want to share. If you don't want to share that part, by all means, 100%. That's your prerogative. It should not be shared then if you say it should not be shared.
Okay, I coincidentally had a conversation with someone who's in the space about the Web3 aspect of it.
Yeah.
In the medical aspect of it. And one of the things that we talked about was they were having trouble getting people to agree to a limited share without the name de-identified, as you put it, in order to pattern recognition for disease precursors, if you will.
Yep.
And the ability to kind of search the database and find, oh, look at all these things, what are the similarities? Like they found in Wuhan that Pepsid AC reduces COVID because they had a group of people that were getting well much quicker. They're like, what's the common denominator? They all
That's that. Yeah.
Right? And so can you talk about how Web3 is going to make that easier, more secure, and just a better way to go than how they're traditionally doing these searches, and potentially finding cures or precursors to identify before you have something?
Yeah. So in this aspect of Web3 and allowing, sorry, I'm like completely blanking out this morning and like, I don't know how I can talk way better on a panel in front of a stage than I can do in a camera. I'm like very anti-camera. Okay, we'll go back.
Just having a conversation.
Yes, okay. Can you ask the question one more time just to reiterate?
Okay, so essentially is Web3 going to make the large database
the biorepository in a sense.
In a better way to look for precursors and solutions to creating better options for treating disease?
Yeah, we absolutely hope so. We're hoping that Web3 and being able to give the power back to the people will incentivize and allow individuals to build more trust in giving their data, not so giving their data, but owning it and then monetizing it themselves. We want to diversify the data is the big thing. Right now within biomedical research, the data is completely biased, with majority of the data being from a white European descent, white male of European descent. So in order to continue along and grow that and have it be easier for pharmaceutical companies and so forth to search the data of biological biorepositories, we need to first diversify the data, and hopefully Web3 in an aspect of giving the power back to the people and building that truth and trust within the industry will allow more data to be provided into those biorepositories. If that answers your question, that might have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, you're doing wonderful. Okay, so let me ask you this: who?
Like freaking out. Sorry.
You're good. What entity is going to store this data? Right now, Web3 is all individual.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I don't want to get into mass adoption or, is there going to be a leading authority? Do we need to look at things like, interest rates are controlled by the Fed? Who is the Fed to blockchain? There isn't. Just how we're going to get to these things that are going to have to happen in order for the industry to survive. But in your particular arena, is there a company that's leading the way for that large database where pattern recognition of these precursors to diseases can be spotted? Because lots of people are saying, oh, here, I want to share with your company, because you're going to cure cancer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So our idea is to create a DAO where it would be stored or who would own it. It's a community-owned biorepository. So in that aspect, we're trying to build the largest let me start over. Sorry, I am like really bad at camera stuff, and I'm trying to.
Back to one.
Back to one. Okay, ask the question one more time. I'm so sorry. I need some media training for sure.
It's all good. Okay, so essentially, who is going to become the authority that collects this on a mass scale and creates that massive database? Like Google collects photos and they have the best facial recognition because they give you Google Photos and they just give you upload. So they're benefiting from that. What entity, because we all know we don't want it to be the government.
Yeah.
Right? We want an entity to step up that we can trust, that we can all believe in, that we as individuals, because Web3 is individual based. The whole thing is taking my identity back, right? So who is going to be the people that we go, oh, here, let me give you my medical information because you're going to cure cancer, because you're going to do this pattern recognition through hundreds of thousands or millions of people are going to give you that information.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is where the DAO infrastructure kind of comes into play. We are, like, Web3 is all about individual, but also community, right? So within the DAO infrastructure, it's community-led and community-owned. So who would own this? The community-owned biorepository. We call it the DISCO DAO. DISCO stands for Decentralized Interactions for Shared Value Community Omics. based on this, we're hoping that individuals are able to trust in the DAO because it's community owned. You actually own a part of it as well. And with that, we hope to build a very large biorepository and a diverse biorepository where these pharmaceutical companies that are doing biomedical research will. Oh, God.
You're saying it's a community garden?
Yeah. I
Okay.
should probably say a little bit more than
So
that.
do I have to contribute to the garden to come in and eat the fruit?
I would say so. If you say that question one more time, do you have to contribute to the community to eat the fruit?
Like, do I have to give you my information to be able to search the database myself?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so any university, any research lab, anyone can come in and have access to this database?
No, only if the community and the individual allows them to. That's basically what the guard is. So the guard is more so the sense, who owns the data? Yourself, but also the community, in the sense that if, let's say, this company wants to search this biorepository and get this information about X individuals of X race and so forth, you have the right individually, using blockchain and Web3 technology and smart contracts, to specifically say, yes, I want to share that, or no, I don't want to share that. And then in terms of a community-owned wise, the community itself, especially within DAOs, can vote to like, do we support this? Do we support our data being provided to this company for this cause? Or do we not support it? And it goes from there.
So it's a pure democracy, it's not a republic. There's not a board that says.
No, we are the board.
So each and every individual has the right to opt in, opt out,
Absolutely.
and then place a vote of, hey, we don't even want these guys on the platform.
100%.
This is
100%.
eugenics.
Exactly. Like, let's say there's this company, I'm not going to say any company, but this is this company that has history of mistrust and going against what they say or anything like that, or taking advantage of certain populations. And let's say the community is like, we don't want to part with them, right? We don't want to give them our data. We don't trust them. We may trust ourselves, but we don't trust them and we don't want to give them our data. Each individual, as well as the community itself, via a vote, however they want to do a snapshot vote with a DAO, can say, yes, we approve this, or no. And if the majority vote no, 100% no. And let's say the majority also vote yes, right? But you individually don't want to be a part of that, by all means, we won't share that data.
You opt out.
Yeah.
So it's 51%?
Yeah, basically.
So how many people are in this collective, for lack of a better word, currently?
Very few. We are just coming out of stealth mode, so I say right now our community is extremely small, but we are trying to grow it. We, again, just are coming out of stealth mode, have not fully had our product ready in terms of allowing people to create their biological digital twin. But we're hoping to make it grow, and this conference has helped tremendously in terms of having people want to join in and be a part of this community and add value to the biotech economy, because this is what we're really trying to do, allow everyday people to participate in the biotech economy rather than just the big players like big pharma and big tech companies and so forth.
Did you just say bio-digital twin?
Yes, biological digital twin. It's kind of scary, I will say that to some people.
But you're creating your record, and that's the term you're using.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've been saying that, we need a board like the board that approves the emojis every year. It says, okay, these are the new ones.
Yeah.
I can't, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
There has to be something for this industry, and I'm often wondering where that's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But let me follow this train of thought. Are you the only people in this space, or is there other companies or other things being done like this?
Yeah, there are other companies out there. The term digital twin isn't new, we'll say that. I think we are one of the few people that do use it, and we are one of the few people that fully put on the term biological digital twin. But there are other people. I know of a DAO, for example, that is in a space that is trying to allow and teach women how to own their data in regards to their uterus. That's like a whole other aspect. It's specific towards that, right? There's other individuals that are, and I'm blinking again. Sorry, camera, I just need to not look at the camera.
Yeah. Try and so there's other people in your space but you're saying they're more specific to a particular thing. But you're eventually going to have some sort of software that allows me or research colleges, whoever's coming in, to be able to kind of pick and choose. Like I want to filter for uterus.
Yep.
Or I want to filter for prostate cancer, or I want to filter. So you have this community you're building, but are you also building a search platform?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't say completely a search platform in the sense that they will automatically get access to the data. We don't want it to be like, oh, I can search and I can just see a whole catalog of everything. That being said, they will get information that people could be searching for. I need data on a females that are 25 to 35 years old of Asian descent in order to conduct research and make sure that these drugs work well with these patients or so forth, et cetera, et cetera. With that, we're creating a backend for those companies to be able to search and request that, and then from there it will be a whole process in regards to, is this data going to be shared or is this data not going to be shared?
Okay, so
Sorry, I don't know if that was not the greatest answer.
So, as altruistic as this is, the real question that comes to mind, which we all have to kind of face as difficult as it is where's the money coming from? How are you affording to do this? How do you commercialize it enough to be able to afford to do it? Maybe your company makes a profit, maybe you're in it because you believe in what you're doing, but how does this work financially?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two aspects to kind of Bento Biology and the Disco DAO portion. Disco DAO is more the Web3 aspect, the community-owned biorepository. Bento Biology is the more Web2 but also Web3 aspect, but includes like an in real life Web2 aspect. That itself That itself, I am blanking. Why am I doing so bad? I'm so sorry. This is probably one of the worst. Okay. Bento Biology, specifically Bento Biology platforms, offers a way for decentralized clinical trials and a way to bring the clinical, oh my God, okay. Take 6.
Take a deep breath, pause for a second.
Okay, I'm also wearing contacts that are old, which means your whole face is blurry right now and I'm trying to like talk. Okay, Bento Biology, that aspect is more the in real life Web 2 aspect, also Web 3, but it brings the clinic to the patients or to the people, for example. So in that model, we're creating a more patient engaged, decentralized clinical trial experience. And with that, with clinical trials, pharma and CROs would be, God, can I get water?
Yeah.
Thanks. Whew. Thanks. All right, this one I could do quickly. I like switched my mindset to sports because that's what I'm talking about today.
If that's what the company's doing, then that's how you're making your money to be able to afford to support the others.
Yeah.
So tell me about the sports aspect of it.
Yeah, so I am the operations lead for TechRuns DAO. TechRuns DAO is specifically the first sports club on the blockchain, building at the intersection of sports, crypto, and culture. So that's what we're doing right now. We're utilizing basketball and intersecting basketball and Web3, but that's the sports DAO portion that I'm doing right now. That might have been really, really quiet, but.
Well, there we go, as easy as that.
Okay. Need anything else about sports, or are you good? Okay, cool.
I got plenty of